Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha, as always, and in this video I want to speak to you guys about trust. Now, INFJs have a really hard time with trust. Maybe it's just me, but I think it's from all the messages that I get from you guys. A lot of you guys have a hard time with trust. Not only obviously trusting people, I mean that's the hardest thing out of all of them. I have a really hard time trusting people. I've actually done a video previously where I said, it took me 10 or 15 years to actually start trusting my family enough. And I mean, they're my family, right? So, and I mean, I don't want to even talk about the people outside of my family. I have a very hard time trusting people like that. I think I have 2 or 3 people, I can count on my 1 or 2 fingers how many people I actually have that I trust implicitly, right? Because I'm always testing them and most people fail the test, which is terrible. I know I shouldn't be testing people, but that's what we do as INFJs. But anyways, what I was saying is that, not only is it trust with people, trust with relationships, but also trust in general, trusting the universe, trusting that everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to, trusting ourselves, trusting and believing in ourselves and our talents and abilities and working towards our goals and believing that it's possible for us to achieve them. All of that trust we have a very hard time with. And I know a lot of you message me saying, how do I know that it's all going to work out in the future? Like if I start working on something right now, if I start writing right now my novel that's supposed to be the blockbuster of my life, or if I start working on my dream right now, how do I know that it's going to come to fruition in the future? How do I know that it's going to come true in the future? How do I trust that the time that I'm spending right now on it is not a big fat zero waste of time, right? I understand a lot of you guys are, as INFJs, we have this thing where we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to waste our time. So if we're working on something, we have to ensure that it's a completely useful use of our time and that it's going to be something that's going to result in something awesome in the future, not just nonsensical waste of time. So from that, I always kind of bring up the issue of trust. Now, you don't need to necessarily trust the world. You don't need to necessarily trust people. And I know that I have a very hard time with that myself. But I do know this to be the absolute truth for me, that I trust the universe implicitly, without questioning, without doubt, unconditionally. I trust the universe. I trust the universe because I've seen it in my life where over and over again, the universe has always come through for me. The universe always comes through for me. And not only that, even if it doesn't in the way that I expected it to, the way I wanted it to, I know that eventually in the future, everything is going to work out in the way that it's supposed to. Everything is going to work out in the way that I need it to, that I desire it to. That is the best thing for me to, right? And so I always try with everything that I do now, not in the past. I know that it was a very hard thing for me in the past. It took me a long time to get to this point right now. But now I know that no matter what I work on, whatever I'm working towards, I know that it's not going to always work out the way I expect it to. It's not going to work out the way I have it in my head. I make all these plans. I don't know why I bother anymore, because none of them actually come true in the way that they're supposed to. But I'm working on all these interesting things. I never expected this YouTube channel to be such a success. It is a success in my opinion, I think. I didn't expect it to get so much feedback, so much good feedback. I never expected that, but I did it because I was like, I have to share my voice. Same thing with a lot of different things I'm doing. Some things I expect to them to be a major success, and I expect them to be like absolutely over the moon success, and then they turn out to be complete flops. And then other things, and I'm like, I'll just do it because, I think it's a good idea. I don't know if it's going to be a success. Probably not, but whatever, I'll try it. And those things turn out to be an absolute major success. Same thing with my podcast. I started doing the podcast because I love to share my ideas, as you guys can tell. And so I started doing it. And I was just like, I don't know. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about the technical aspects of it. I had no idea what I was doing. I just started recording my voice and I started sharing it. That's it. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Really, I still have no idea what I'm doing. But I share it. I share once a week my voice, my thoughts. And it's actually surprisingly a success. I'm surprised to say that out loud. But it is. I mean, people download it. I've had 10,000 downloads in the last few months. And people download it and message me saying that they enjoy it and they learn from it. And all of that really gives me a lot of, not only am I surprised by it, but a lot of peace, because that is just another example of how things work out sometimes the way that you expect them to, but mostly how they work out in a way that you don't expect them to, right? And so the whole point of all of this is to trust the process, to trust that the universe is on your side. The universe, even if no one else on the planet is on your side, believe that the universe is on your side. And that's one of the things that I always try to work with. No matter what happens in the world, no matter if I can't trust my parents or if I can't trust my siblings, which I do, both of them I do, but even if I can't trust the people in my life, if I can't trust the government, if I can't trust the environment, if I can't trust the earth, whatever it might be, everything else falls apart. I know that I can absolutely, implicitly, unconditionally trust that the universe is on my side. I have this belief, and this belief has sustained me through all of the different things that I'm working on. Even though in moments of strife and doubt, sometimes it feels like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I even doing these videos? Why am I even doing this podcast? What's the point of it? Why do I bother? It takes so much effort, la la la. Even in those moments of strife and doubt, I know that if I just trust the universe, if I just trust the universe, everything is going to work out exactly as it's supposed to, exactly perfectly as it's supposed to. Now, in the moment itself, you might look at the path that the universe is taking for you, and you might think, this is not the path that I want to take, or this doesn't look like the right path, or it doesn't look like the way things are supposed to go, or maybe this is the wrong way to do things. I don't know. But if you just trust and you believe, okay, the universe knows what it's doing more than we know what we're doing, really, if you think about it, right? I mean, the universe sees more than we do. It is more ancient than we are. It is more connected to all of the different things than we are. So it's wiser than us. So if it's taking a path, a certain path that maybe seems tumultuous to us or seems weird to us, if we just trust that the universe knows what's doing, which it is more than us, then if you can just follow the path and trust with it, then everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to, right? The main problem with this stuff, with this trust thing, is that we've had issues in the past, as every human being has had, where we've trusted that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to, but perhaps they didn't work out exactly the way they were supposed to. For example, that relationship that you thought was going to last forever ended up lasting only for 3 or 4 years, and then you broke up and never spoke about it again, right? Or that degree that you thought was going to be your life savior turned out to be completely useless, and you never used it again, and you had to find some other way of making money, you know? So things like that. I mean, I'm just making up examples here. I'm sure some of those examples will relate to you, definitely relate to me, but it doesn't mean that if that particular thing didn't work out, that everything else isn't going to work out either. Like, that's not the whole point of this. That's what trust is all about. It's a fact that just because past relationships didn't work out, that doesn't mean that all of your relationships in the future are not going to work out. Now, I'm saying this from the perspective, sorry about that, I still have a cold, from the perspective of a person who has not been in a relationship for a long time. And I have a very hard time with trusting that process. I trust everything else except getting into a relationship with a stranger. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to try it, and I always constantly try. I mean, I'm trying my level best here right now to say, yes, I'm going to get into a relationship. I've told a bunch of people, you know, that it's going to happen soon. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I was in my hibernation hermit stage, but now I feel like I'm opening up a little bit and getting out there. And so things are changing, and I feel it, and I know it, but little by little it happens, right? Little by little. And so I'm trusting that everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to. Now, the reason I did this video for you guys is because a lot of you guys messaged me saying that, you know, you have a hard time with trust. Now, I'm not talking specifically about trusting relationships, because that's a completely different topic. But I really want you guys to start off with the basics, which is trusting the universe. And you'll notice this in your life. If you just look back upon your life in hindsight, you'll notice there's so many occasions where you trusted the universe and everything worked out exactly as it's supposed to. Instead of worrying about it, instead of wasting your energy, instead of wasting your mental power, instead of getting anxious, instead of stressing yourself out, just trust that everything's working out the way it's supposed to. Now, you do the work, obviously. You're not going to sit around in your bed and hope that everything works out perfectly. You do the work. Every single day I get up and I do my work. I record these videos, I put my podcast out, I do all the other stuff that I'm doing, right? So I'm doing the work. But once I do the work, I don't worry about the results. The results will happen as they happen, right? You do the work to the best of your ability, and then you leave it up to the universe. And then you say to the universe, I've done my work. Thank you so much for your help with this. Now please help me with the results. And if there's anything I can do, please send me messages and signs so I can work on that as well, right? And so you trust that the universe is going to help you, and the universe does. I mean, if you notice in hindsight, I notice in my own life, every single time I've gotten anxious and worried about things, it was a completely useless waste of my time, because it always worked out the way it's supposed to. And all that energy that I wasted on worrying about it was a completely useless waste of my time. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want you guys to do that anymore, because all that energy that we waste on thinking and being anxious and being doubtful and worrying is such a waste of our energy. We could be using that energy for something good, something positive, something awesome, but instead we waste it on all of these useless emotions. And I don't want you guys to do that. I don't want myself to do that either. And so this is a reminder for us in this sort of way, okay? Again, I hope this makes sense to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being on my channel. Thank you for all of your love and support that you guys have been sending my way. If you guys have any questions at all, please message me anytime. I'm really, really grateful to hear from you guys. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.